When we talk about Burkina Faso, agriculture might not be the first thing that comes to mind. Yet, agriculture is at the heart of life in this Sahel country, where farmers have to deal with irregular rainfall, harsh climate conditions, land degradation, and in recent years, serious security challenges. Despite these difficulties, Burkina Faso is taking steps to transform the way it produces food, with a great focus on modernization, productivity, and greater food security. One of the major initiatives supporting this effort is the Emergency Project for Increasing Agricultural Production, supported by the African Development Bank with millions of euros under African Emergency Food Production Facility. The project was introduced at a time when global food supply disruptions were putting additional pressure on countries like Burkina Faso, making it increasingly important for the country to strengthen its own domestic food production. A major part of this transformation is agricultural mechanization. Burkina Faso is introducing modern equipment, including tractors, while also investing in irrigation and other systems that can help farmers produce more efficiently. But the transformation is not simply about putting machines on the farms. Investment is also going into irrigation, storage facilities, and agricultural infrastructure, helping farmers to manage water, preserve harvested crops, and reduce losses after harvest. At the same time, farmers are being supported by improved farming techniques, including more sustainable approaches to soil management and more efficient method of production. The objective is straightforward: produce more food, use available resources more efficiently, and make agriculture more resilient to the challenges facing the country. There are already signs of progress. During the 2025 to 2026 agricultural session, cereal production reached approximately 7.40 million tons, representing an increase of about 17.60% compared to the previous season. Market garden production also reached around 1.47 million tons, an increase of approximately 14.4%. These numbers are important because they show that Burkina Faso agricultural story is not only about government plans, investment, and new equipment. There are also measurable increases in agricultural production. The bigger goal or the future is not simply to produce more food. Burkina Faso is looking forward to a system in which farmers can produce, store, and eventually process more of what they grow locally. If that system continues to develop, it could help reduce dependency on food imports while creating new opportunities for farmers, businesses, and rural communities. And this is where agriculture becomes much more than just farming. It becomes part of Burkina Faso's broader effort to strengthen food sovereignty, economic resilience, and long-term development. In a country facing climate pressure, economic challenges, and insecurity, the ability to produce enough food locally can become one of the foundations of national stability. Burkina Faso agricultural transformation, therefore, represents not just an attempt to grow more crops, but an attempt to build a food system that is more productive, more self-resilient, and more better prepared for the future. Burkina Faso agricultural transformation is not happening in isolation. The country is working with international organizations that provide financial support, technical expertise, and programs aimed at improving productivities. One of these partners is the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, whose 2023 to 2027 strategy includes support for improving the productivity of crops as maize, rice, and soya. The German Development Agency (GIZ) also supporting more sustainable and market-oriented farming practices, helping farmers connect with markets and agricultural value chains. The International Fund for Agricultural Development (IFAD) has likewise supported smallholder farmers and rural development initiatives. Burkina Faso is also trying to make sure that increasing agricultural production leads to something bigger than supplying harvesting more crops. The country is more concerned and focusing on agro-processing, turning agricultural raw materials into finished or semi-finished products inside the country. We can already see the examples of this emerging industrial base. In 2024, 2 tomato processing factories were inaugurated: Sopto in Bobo Dioulasso and Sofato in Yako. Their purpose is to process locally produced tomatoes into products such as tomato paste. In Bobo Dioulasso, agro-serve industry was also established to process maize with a reported capacity of 160 tons per day. Producing products include maize flour, semolina, and other maize derivatives. There is also Burkina Kaju, a cashew processing facility designed to add more value to locally produced cashews rather than simplify exporting them as a raw agricultural commodities. This is an important shift for the Burkina Faso people and the government to grow crops, process them locally, create employment around them, and retain more of the economic value within Burkina Faso. The international support is also continuing. In March 2026, the World Bank approved around $215.9 million agricultural transformation project, focusing on value chain such as rice, maize, processing of infrastructure, market access, financing, and technology adoption. Though Burkina Faso still faces serious challenges: climate change, unpredictable rainfall, insecurity, and pressure from international markets, they can all affect agricultural production, but the country's approach is increasingly focused on building resilience and while reducing its dependency on imported foods. For Burkina Faso, producing more of its own food and developing the industry could reduce dependency on imports while creating a new opportunities for farmers, businesses, and workers. And if Burkina Faso could sustain the transformation, agriculture could become more than a source of food. It could become a foundation for industrialization, employment, food security, and long-term economic growth. Agriculture tells us something important about Burkina Faso. Development is not only about what a country has, but about what it can build from what it has. The real opportunity is to connect the farmers to factory, the factory to market, and the market to the wider economy. If Burkina Faso can continue improving productivity, managing its water, supporting farmers, and processing more of its agricultural products locally, agriculture could become one of the strongest foundations of its economic transformation. Because food security is not just about feeding a nation, it is also about building the economy that sustains it. My name is Akanni. My mission is to reconnect the past with the present and also tell our story how it is meant to be told. God bless Africa.